Hello, and many thanks for looking at this presentation. My name is Mark Wallington. I'm one of the quality managers here at CMI. The idea of this presentation is to give a new centre or staff at a centre who are new to CMI an introduction from a quality perspective into running CMI qualifications. One of the first steps will be to make yourself familiar with the Hub documentation and the information that's available. The Hub is the portal for sharing information between a centre and CMI, and it's full of lots of useful reports and information. Depending on the permissions you've got, your view may look something like this or may not, but you'll be able to see different tiles appropriate to the accesses that you've been given. The Programme Director should be able to access the Approvals tile, and just note here that you can access Management Direct as well as other study resources. So this is the screen you'll see when you upload the approved centre documentation. For data protection reasons, this centre's had its information blacked out. Obviously, your information will appear in where the black boxes are. It's important to think of this as working documentation, so it's updated as and when things change at a centre. Section 3.3 is where you can let us know about changes in staff. So you can add or remove staff via the Our Staff tile. Equally, it's important to give us information in the staff matrix, which you should upload to section 3.3, which shows the staff involved with the CMI qualifications and their role on each of the CMI qualifications as well. Another useful place to look on the Hub is the Reports tile. This gives you access to various different reports, which we will look at in a moment. So here are some of the reports you may be able to see. The Centre Details report shows the CMI qualifications the centre is approved to run and the number of learners registered on each qualification. The Staff Summary gives information about the approved staff at the centre, and the Learner Details report gives information on all the learners you've got registered currently. You can also interrogate the report to see learners who've certificated in previous years or who have lapsed. Please check the Learner Details report to make sure that it's correct. You can filter this by a number of fields. I suggest using the current learners to just make sure you're looking at learners who are current on qualification. So please check, are they on the correct qualification? Also, are they still current on programme? If a learner withdraws, please do let us know and use the email address at the bottom of this slide to do so. These next few slides are going to look at on-programme information and the sorts of things that a centre needs to consider when offering CMI qualifications. Syllabuses for CMI qualifications are available on the website www.managers.org.uk. There's a variety of routes that you can find qualifications through. And it's recommended that you use the current version on the website rather than saving local copies and going back to those. Obviously, as information changes, then the syllabus will be updated on the website. Particular attention needs to be paid to the rules of combination. These are available in all the syllabuses and tell you what the learners need to complete in order to be able to get the different size of qualification. If it was available at the time of approval, your quality manager should have checked that, but it is the centre's responsibility to make sure you're offering the correct combination of units and hours or credits to enable the learners to achieve the qualifications that you want them to achieve. It's especially important to take note of any units which may not be included within a certain size qualification. So, for example, not all units are always available in awards. And similarly, there may be units which aren't available to be taken in combination with other units. Please also make sure that the delivery pattern that you're offering allows the learners to meet the hours requirements set out in the syllabus. For most CMI qualifications, pre-written assessment or assignment briefs are available via the website. You will need to log in to access these as they aren't freely available. CMI doesn't prescribe the use of assignment briefs, but it must be noted that if any other form of documentation is given to learners to guide them in the assessment, then this must be approved by CMI. For further guidance, please refer to the CMI assessment brief checking procedure, and details of that will be coming along later. To help develop teaching, delivery and assessment, look at the assessment criteria and the qualification. These will contain action words, and it's these which will have to be met by the learner evidence, and they'll give a clue as to the depth and breadth of coverage required. For example, an evaluate action word will require the learner to provide more information than an identify action word. As well as assignment briefs, CMI also produces marking sheets for most qualifications. These also require a login to access and are available via the website. The mark sheets will help assessors or markers set out their feedback in an appropriate format. Some mark sheets also contain good practice which can help guide the learner in providing their evidence. The next 3 slides are about providing feedback. As you're new to CMI qualifications, the principles in providing feedback don't differ greatly from other awarding bodies, but there are some slight differences. In CMI qualifications, the key point is whether the learner work has met the active or the command verb in the assessment criteria. You also need to think about whether the work is level appropriate and is it to the correct depth and breadth. Some CMI assignment briefs give tasks. These can be used for guidance, but in all instances the learner should make sure their evidence meets the assessment criteria. If the assessment criteria give a number of items which need to be covered, then the learner must do that. So if there's a number, then the number must be met. If it's in a plural, for example organisations rather than organisation, then there must be at least 2. If the word range is used, then there must be at least 3. When marking, please make sure that each assessment criteria is marked and a pass or refer given for each. Even if only one assessment criteria is a refer, then the whole assignment or unit is also a refer. Only not meeting the assessment criteria can lead to a refer. So, for example, an assignment can't be referred if there's no bibliography, unless, of course, it's referred to in the assessment criteria, and also if the assessor doesn't like the format, that's not the reason for a refer to be given. If a learner has referred an assignment on one or more assessment criteria, they're allowed a further 2 submission attempts. They should resubmit the whole assignment, but only need to provide additional evidence for the assessment criteria which had been referred in the first instance. Additional evidence should be provided in a different colour. We recommend the second submission in blue and the third submission in red. If they don't pass all assessment criteria after 3 submissions, they will have been deemed to fail the unit and cannot retake it. Word counts are given in various CMI information, for example the syllabuses and/or the marking schemes, and these should be adhered to. That's to make sure that there's an equivalent level of demand across all learners and all centres, and for fairness and equivalency, a learner should be required to stick to these. It also helps the assessors and markers, who should not have to mark work that's excessively over word count. A lot of information is being given about assessment and marking, as that's slightly different in CMI qualifications. Internal verification is an overall general process, so there won't be as much detailed information in this slide about internal verification. It's expected that the centre has appropriately qualified and/or experienced IVs, and the moderator will be looking to see whether the centre's assessment decisions are correct. So the IV needs to be in a position where they're able to overturn assessor decisions where necessary. Taking account of your delivery and assessment models, the centre should ensure that learners aren't kept waiting unduly to have the assessment decisions confirmed by the CMI moderator. It's not good practice to wait until the end of the programme to submit for moderation, as CMI moderators have the ability to disagree with the centre decision, and having that happen at the end of the programme could be rather embarrassing for the centre and also inconvenient for the learners. Use the moderation tile to upload claims to the hub. Here you'll also find a document which will guide you through the process. The previous slide also gave links to a video which is very helpful in guiding you through the process. Once you've submitted a claim, CMI will then moderate that to make sure that the centre's assessment and internal verification decisions are correct. That will be a percentage-based sample depending on a risk assessment of the centre's assessment decisions. So the learners need to be aware that your assessment decisions are always provisional until they've been confirmed and approved by the CMI moderator. CMI moderators are able to use ePortfolio systems to moderate work. However, please remember that every centre uses ePortfolios in slightly different ways and keeps the information in different places. So it's not the moderator's role to hunt through your system to find exactly where the required documentation is. It needs to be signposted to them so they can quickly and easily find it when they're doing the moderation. Moderation for an ePortfolio should be as simple and straightforward for the moderator as using the CMI hub to access the learner work. The CMI website has a wide range of different resources available to you. Use the Education Providers tab on the website to access the Hub, Management Direct, the Qualification Library and the EPA Toolkit for those centres providing apprenticeships. Use the section arrow to access the awarding body's policies and procedures. Information on the Policies and Procedures section includes detailed information on the topics covered in this presentation. Policies and procedures such as recognition of prior learning, the malpractice and maladministration policies and many others. There's also guidance documents as well. There's a link here for where CMI policies and procedures can be found as well. Another key activity is quality assurance. Your centre will be allocated a quality manager and it's their role to carry out the quality assurance activities. They may be virtual or on site and they may happen annually or less often just depending on need. If you've got a question which can't be answered through any other means, the quality manager should be able to assist you. The next 3 slides give information about further support and assistance available, including email addresses and phone numbers of the various departments within CMI that are able to help with various queries. Thank you for listening. We hope this has been useful. If you've got any further queries or questions that haven't been covered in any of the other documentation, please feel free to get in touch. Use the phone number given in this slide, or alternatively the Contact Us part of the website. Thank you.